to the channel. I'm back to break down this 11-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into the breakdown, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these slates to help you guys win some money night in and night out. Looking forward to getting into this one, trying to get you guys in the green tonight. And we are right on the edge of 1,000 subscribers. So if you do enjoy the content, it really would mean a lot to me if you hit that subscribe button. Get over that 1,000 mark. It would mean a lot. And if you are interested in some further content from me, I do offer an MLB DFS premium package. Just link below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups. And yeah, let's go ahead and start breaking down the slate today. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And let's get into it. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today in K rate is going to be Carlos Rodon, taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Comes in with a 35.1% K overall with a 15.4 swinging strike rate and a 35.7% K rate against righties, as well as a 33% K rate against lefties. Looking at his most recent game logs, you can see his last performance on the 26th. He was able to work his way up to 67 pitches. It's expected that he probably should be able to keep working his way up. That was his first start in quite some time. I really do like him. It's just a matter of the pitch count here. And for that reason, he might not be my lead guy that I go to. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he should be up to full strength here after that one start and, you know, for a week under his belt. But I would like him a lot more if he had another start under his belt. So Rodon's going to be a great option, especially taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're a team that just doesn't scare us whatsoever. We really had a lot of interest last night in who was it that pitched last night for the White Sox? For some reason, I can't remember the name. Sorry, Giolito. Lucas Giolito, and he ended up getting hurt. So I think it's the same situation here. He's a 348 favorite, expected to get the win very easily. And you could definitely be looking at him, but it's a little bit of a pitch count issue. And we have another guy that I'm really going to be having a lot of interest in. We have Max Scherzer taking on the Atlanta Braves. He's a 34.6% K overall with a 15.8 swinging strike rate, a 37.6% K rate against righties, and a 31.8% K rate against lefties. Taking on an Atlanta Braves team tonight. That is a very tough matchup, but I do think they have their strikeouts, and I think that Max Scherzer at this point is just pretty much matchup proof. The guy's just consistently pitching very, very well. He's 11-5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's 10-9. And you can see last time against San Diego, a team that really doesn't strike out a lot. He had 10 strikeouts over 7.2 innings pitched with 104 pitches. So if that doesn't prove that he can strike out any team, I don't know what does. That's very impressive to me. I mean, San Diego's a team that I haven't been targeting all season long. And while Atlanta's is a powerhouse offense, they do have a lot more strikeouts in their lineup than the San Diego squad. I think that Scherzer could really dice them up here regardless. So like him. Chris Sale taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Pretty tough matchup for him as well. But he does have a 34.4% K overall with a 15.4 swinging strike rate, a 36.5% K rate to righties, and a 22.2% K rate against lefties. Only a 15 innings pitch sample size since coming back, but he has looked very, very sharp. He's in the Trop, one of the best pitching environments you could ask for. The Rays have been a lot worse against left-handed pitching all season long. They've definitely added some bats to help their case in that, as far as Nelson Cruz, Jordan Luplow, etc. But I think there should still be some strikeouts there. It's really a matter of his pitch count that Sale has had since returning. You look at his games, you can see 89, 71, 80. Do we really want to pay that price tag for a guy that can be capped at 80 pitches? I'm not really too sure. And for all of these reasons, I think that it's really going to come down to a couple guys here. Garrett Cole being one of them. I mean, we talked about Scherzer against Atlanta. I think Garrett Cole is another guy, and he gets an even easier matchup taking on the Los Angeles Angels with a 34.3% K overall, a 14.6 swinging strike rate, 30.4% K rate against righties, and a 39% K rate against lefties. Very good across the board, and the Los Angeles Angels have been striking out a bunch. I think this is going to be a great spot for Garrett Cole. A spot that he can really rack up a lot of strikeouts, and a spot that I'm going to have a lot of interest in him. He's a 268 favorite. Expected to get the win pretty easily here. And he's 11-2 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 9-9. I definitely think he's going to be, you know, at the top of my list on tonight's slate. And I also do like Aaron Nola quite a bit, taking on the Washington Nationals. They're another team that's watered down. So you got Scherzer, Cole, Nola really standing out to me over Rodon and Sale due to pitch count, etc. matchup. And Nola was a 29.5% K overall, 13% swing strike rate, 28.8% K rate to righties and a 30.3% K rate to lefties has been very, very good. And the Washington Nationals lineup continues to look not so hot after letting go of some key pieces on their team. Looks like there could be some weather concerns, unfortunately, in this one, so that might scratch Nola out of this one, but he has been very, very solid as of late. Continues to just dominate in a lot of these games. 11 Ks and 7 Ks the last 2 times out. Has been at 90-plus pitches all the way up to 117 pitches. So, a lot longer leash than some of these guys we talked about. And we also have Kevin Gausman taking on the Milwaukee Brewers, which is a team that's been striking out a bunch on the season, a team that I've really enjoyed targeting. They definitely added some more low strikeout bats in their lineup, but Gausman still does have a 14.6 winning strike rate, 28.8% K rate, 29.5% K rate to righties, and 28.2% K rate to lefties, with really good green stuff across the board as far as ground ball, fly ball, whoa ball, hard hit rate, slugging, etc. And he gets to pitch in one of the best pitching environments in San Francisco. So there's a lot of things that make sense for Gausman. He's only a 153 favorite. Compared to some of these other guys, he's not quite much of a favorite, but you have to mention him in the top tier here. 9.5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 8.7, and you can definitely be looking his way tonight. Not nearly as friendly as a play as I feel like Garrett Cole or Aaron Nola or Max Scherzer, I don't think. I say not nearly. They're all pretty tight, but I think Gausman's kind of last in that list. And then we definitely have some other guys and some great matchups that we can target, with most notably James Kaprielian taking on the Detroit Tigers. We're going to continue to target them. They really just don't scare us, and they're a team that we can continue to attack in DFS. He has a 24.5% K overall with a 10.7 swinging strike rate, 29.7% K rate against righties, and a 19.5% K rate against lefties. So has been a lot more dominant against those right-handed bats and those lefties. But when you get a matchup against the Detroit Tigers, they just really strike out a lot no matter what. He's a 165 favorite. I'd expect him to have a pretty good game here, and he's definitely going to be on my list of pitchers. You can make an argument for Steven Matz taking on Baltimore because they've just been striking out a bunch, but Steven Matz really isn't that great, so it's not going to get that excited. You can make an argument for Justin Steele taking on Minnesota, but hasn't been going that deep in the games. The last guy that I would maybe mention would be Mike Minor taking on the Cleveland Indians. And as far as him being listed as a starter, that's still up in the air. We don't even know if it's going to be him. I had seen Jackson Kowar maybe taking the bump. If it is Mike Minor, I definitely would have interest in him because the Cleveland Indians have been striking out a bunch. We saw Jacob Junis come up from AAA last night and have a really good game against them. So if Mike Minor's out there, you can make a case for him. And that's about all that I have for pitching. Let's go to transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, worst to best, skill and active ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far on the season, how good they're expecting to be in the future. And the worst on the slate is Jackson Kowar, who only has a 5 innings pitch sample size, was expected to pitch against this Cleveland Indians team. He's a little bit of a conflicting report, I guess. As I always say, the reason that I have him on my sheet is because DraftKings has him listed as a probable pitcher. DraftKings has been very sharp as far as who the probable pitchers are this year, so I'll continue to go with them when I make these recordings. And if he's on the bump, that could definitely make a big case for the Cleveland stack because the Kansas City Royals bullpen is really not good. And if he doesn't have a long leash, they're really relying on the bullpen. It's a bullpen game. I think the Cleveland Indians could be a viable stack. If it's Mike Minor, I'll have a lot less interest. Packing that and taking on the New York Yankees. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's been decent. We're only dealing with a 5 innings pitch sample size. Against righties, he's been good. Against lefties, he's been good. But once again, it's only 5 innings. As far as his opponent, he faced the San Diego Padres, so that's pretty impressive. Team to be shutting down. He had 4.1 innings pitched that game. 1 inning pitched the time before against the Dodgers. 1 run against the Dodgers, 0 runs against the Padres. So, I don't really think this kid's supposed to be that good, though. The New York Yankees have a very loaded lineup. I don't think he's going to have a very long leash. I'm not too scared of the Angels' bullpen. And for all those reasons, I do think you could stack up the Yankees tonight. They just have a bunch of power. I think you can stack them up any night. Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, Gallo, Voit through the center of that order. And then you have some good salary relief options with Urshela, Velasquez, Higashioka. And then you got DJ LeMahieu at the top of the order as well. I just think that they are in a great spot here. On the road, they get the guaranteed 9th inning at bat. Logan Allen taking on the Kansas City Royals. He's pretty easy to sum up here. Gives up a lot of hard contact, even though his ground ball fly ball rates are pretty good. He gives up a 535 slugging to righties, a 593 slugging to lefties. And like I said, the ground ball, fly ball stuff is just good, but the slugging is not. So it's a little bit of a weird dynamic. I really don't like targeting guys that don't give up a lot of fly balls, but when they give up hard contact and maybe you could get into the bullpen, it's got to be somewhat viable. He's a lefty. Merrifield, Salvador Perez, rakes lefties, Carlos Santana, Edward Olivares, Michael Taylor, Hunter Dozier, Alberto, Emmanuel Rivera. All those guys like 5 through 9 really aren't the greatest hitters in the world, but they all are designed to hit left-handed hitting better than righties. So I could see you going to the Royal stack. It's just a little scary for me because most of the time it's a lot of singles going on, a lot of just single. Maybe they score 5 runs, but it would be viable. Willie Peralta taking on the Oakland Athletics. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's pretty good as well, but a 437 slugging to righties, a 421 slugging to lefties. This guy traditionally really isn't good. He did have a pretty good performance up to this point, this far on the season, but the Oakland Athletics lineup is designed to hit left-handed pitching very well. So I would say this is a little bit of a scary spot to be targeting him, but it's listed as a right-handed hurler. I'm pretty sure. Okay, never mind. I stand corrected. He is a right-handed hurler. I don't know why I was thinking Peralta on the Yankees out of the pen is a lefty. So, anyways, Ron Peralta, he is a righty, but regardless, he's really not good. The Oakland Athletics, that just opens up room to play guys like a Matt Olson, like a Tony Kemp. I really don't hate it. They're pretty decent against righties as well if you get the right matchup. The Detroit Tigers bullpen is bad, and you can definitely have interest. Matt Olson, Starling Marte, Jed Lauer, Josh Harrison, Matt Chapman starting to get things going, Canna, Sean Murphy, Andrews. It's really going to be a matchup thing. They have a pretty deep lineup. It's just if they strike out, and this is going to be a great option for them. Max Kranick taking on the Chicago White Sox. They're going to be one of the best stacks on the slate. His ground ball, fly ball stuff is terrible. He gives up a 535 slugging to righties, a 429 slugging to lefties. He is really not that great. The Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen is really not that great, and the Chicago White Sox have a 5.73 implied run total. Looks like there could be 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right field tonight. It might be more left to right, but it looks like it's working its way mostly out towards right, so that's a pretty good sign for the hitting statistics here. You got Luis Robert, Yoan Moncada, Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez, Yasmani Grandal, Brian Goodwin, Andrew Vaughn, and Larry Garcia. Can definitely be looking to them with a 5.73 implied run total. Matt Harvey taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Definitely going to be a viable guy to target. He's been terrible all season long. He gives up a 500 slugging to righties, a 438 slugging to lefties. It's not going to get the job done. He only has a 15% carry overall, and the Toronto Blue Jays lineup is absolutely loaded with power. They have George Springer, Marcus Semien, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, Corey Dickerson, Larry Scariello. I'd have interest all the way up to them. Kevin Smith, Reese McGuire, not exactly on the big slugger side. So really the 1 through 7 spot I'd be looking to, and then once you break down the rest of the slate, I'm really not interested in targeting Brett Anderson. Puelo Espinal would be a great guy to target if this game does go live. Either the weather's concerned, he gives up a 528 slugging to righties, a 424 slugging to lefties. That's really not that good. And the Philadelphia Phillies have a 4.83 implied run total, 11-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to left center, 97% humidity in Washington. When you're looking at the ballpark, Washington, a very friendly hitting environment to both right-handed and left-handed hitters, so that can always get the job done for you there. You can target the lefties against Caprioli. We had mentioned that with a 497 slugging up to them. Detroit's really not the most loaded, but if you look here, you can see Akil Baddoo, Robbie Grossman, Jeimer Candelario, and Harold Castro going to be viable options, as well as Willie Castro. Only 4.19 implied run total, so maybe not the best. And then once we get down past them, that's about it for the slate today. You can make an argument to target the Minnesota righties against Justin Steele with the 500 slugging give up to righties, and then you also have Chris Sale with the 500 slugging give it up, even though it's only a 15 innings pitch sample size. But that's about it for today's breakdown. Before I let you guys go, I've got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Eloy Jimenez taking on Max Kranick. We mentioned his hard contact issue across the board. Really not good. It gives up a 48.6% fly ball rate, a 535 slugging to righties, only a 16.7% K rate. And then when you're breaking down his repertoire against righties, very reliant on the fastball slider combination. Goes to the fastball 42% of the time, the slider 41% of the time, and Jimenez crushes both of those pitches. On average, the fastball, you're looking at about 93 mile-an-hour fastball, and Jimenez features a 333 ISO with a 373 WOBA. And then when you break down the slider, he crushes that as well with a 315 ISO and a 371 WOBA. Love this spot for Eloy Jimenez. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Eloy Jimenez. Get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here the rest of the season breaking down these slates. Wish you guys the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.